Hi, this is Chris. Today, the UNO Synth Pro, and this is the original USP. The newer model, the X, has a lot more functions on the front panel, controls, knobs, blah, 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 whatever you want to call them. This particular machine was the first of the Pro series, and there's a keyboard version, of course. And what's unique about this one was, from the original UNO Synth, the Pro introduced a second filter, and for me, filters, LFOs and envelope generators are everything. And when we're talking about being able to create sounds, if you have a listen to what I was doing in that first section with the filters, I'm on filter number 2 at the moment. I'll just hit that one there. Get rid of those effects, too much reverb and a bit too much delay, all gone. A little bit of bounce around in there, and of course we've got some chorusy things going on there. Now if you look on my screen, you will see there is the reverb unit with 4 different types of reverb. The delay unit, which is lots of fun. So I have the ping, the doubler. So with this one in particular, you can have left and right times jumping all over the place. So lots of fun going on there. Of course, your modulation section has chorus, phaser, or flanger. And in the chorus section, there's modelling based on a couple of old synths and a string machine. And we'll get a bit of thickening and chorusing going on there. And now when I start messing around with these 2 filters, my first filter is actually the OTA, which is the old Roland style one, which was common on the original UNO Synth. And I'll jump back to that. Now my OTA filter is actually set to high pass, so when I've got it in high pass mode, it means I can take the bottom end out of the sound. Jump across to the second. Sharp cutting. Top, the bottom's gone, the top's gone, so we've just got the mid. Great sounding filters. I can't see anyone complaining about the quality of those, because this thing's fat as hell. And let's see what else we've got. You heard me bouncing around with the effects. The last effect that we were talking about in the, it's actually number 1 on the list there, but it is a true analog drive. So your overdrive circuit, let's jump in and go like this. So big, nasty kind of drive section, which is, as I said, analog on there. So what you've actually got, analog filter, analog oscillators, analog amplifier, and then with the effects section, there is a send-return function inside the machine where it's actually modulation, delay, and reverb, of course, are digital, but that drive circuit is analog. So nice and fat. What else do we need to talk about? In the engine itself, that continuous waveform shaping, which was common on the original UNO Synth, is also on this guy. So we can jump into the oscillator section there, and we're on tuning at the moment, so I need to press it again and go into my waveform. So once again, triangle, saw, square, pulse. And there's your pulse concept. So pulse width modulation means you can actually get that kind of bit of movement to thicken up the sound. And of course, with the oscillators themselves, having the 3 means there's a triangle going on in there, and if I switch that up and change that to, while I'm messing with that one, and of course pressing the button again gets me down to the tuning. Nice and fat. And bringing up the volume on the 3rd will give you an octave down set on that square wave in the 3rd oscillator there. So fat as hell. You can't say this little guy's gutless, that's for sure. There's a lot going on in there, and it's very, very big sound. Now, filter envelope, amplitude envelope. The matrix is basically where you do all your assigning and bits and pieces in there, and on screen you can see it in all its glory. The aftertouch is assigned to the filter 2 cutoff, etc., etc., as you work your way through all of that sort of stuff. And when you're messing around with all of these bits and pieces, it just means there's a heck of a lot going on there. 2 LFOs is really great. You've got your glide control, so lots and lots and lots to be able to do on that one there. Now, while we're messing around with these guys, the sequencer, as you can see along the front, is 16 steps. But when the sequence button is turned off, these double up as preset selectors quickly. So slowly you can hit the preset button and work your way through with the knobs, but this comes in groups of 16. Get up an octave there. So there's some very, very big knobs affected. And you also actually have the paraphonic. What I might do is get rid of a little bit of that reverb there. Now, just remember, paraphonic basically means that it's the 3 oscillators being separated under your fingers, but they're still being fed through the same filter amplifier section like that. So it can be used for some interesting kind of things. The modulation is being used to shorten the pluck, so it's actually even pluckier. And what else we got? We got number 9. If you're into that style of music, that's one hell of a stab. And this is an interesting one because it's called on the sequence, on the seek. And so if we put it into sequencer mode and press play, sound familiar? Now, the cool thing about this machine is, of course, having a sequencer on board, step sequencer. There are 16 steps along the front, which I'm doubling up with my presets at the moment, but there are 16 steps on the front. There are also 4 pages, so there's actually 4 pages of 16, so you can have a 64-step sequence. And as well as the note data, most of the other things can be recorded as control data as well. So if you want to mess with the filters and have that going through the sequence, you can. If you want to have the effects in and out, if you want to have anything else in and out, movement of the oscillator wave shapes and stuff like that, it's all possible. So turning the sequence off, you can see my presets have come back. Go back to... and then drop it an octave so you get to hear kind of the bottom end once again of what this machine can do. Dance. Fabulous. Good guy lead. And then once again, the paraphonic mode there with the strings, it means you can just throw a few basic chords in and record them and then go back to working with your other stuff. And that's basically giving you an overview of what this machine can do. There is an arpeggiator, of course, and you can lock all of that stuff to sync to external MIDI source. If you want to lock it up with your DAW, that's possible too. And it's just basically a touch keyboard there. There's no sensitivity to it. It just triggers and then it's on and off. You've got your pitch bender and your modulations, of course. They're built into the little keyboard itself. And the versatility is quite staggering. It can do quite a lot of stuff. And if I jump back to here, and oh no, it was that one there, wasn't it? And then we can go. There it is for our final time, and this is the UNO Synth Pro. Thanks for listening.